Hi, everyone. Brad here. I wanted to talk a little bit today about productive versus toxic paranoia. There are larger concepts, so this is a long one, probably 4 or 5 minutes. Start by saying thank you, Julie Penner. She brought up productive paranoia during breakfast yesterday. I really appreciate it. Productive paranoia was made popular by Jim Collins, and I mentioned that I had a framework for toxic paranoia, knowing the difference. So I decided to answer her question on what that framework was here in front of all of you. So let's jump in. Jim Collins in Great by Choice showed that the best leaders, what he called 10Xers, he pretty much popularized that phrase, weren't bold risk takers always. They were strategic warriors. They planned, they anticipated, they moved before they even had to. This is productive paranoia, and it's good. And here's the trick. Productive paranoia is a tool. It's used to build resilience. A lot of times it gives you better surface area for luck coming to you and being able to handle it. And the number one thing that it does is it creates resilience. When you think about a system that has no slack, a tight string, any fault in the system causes collapse. Productive paranoia helps you make sure there's enough slack in the system to help with what is inevitable, which is difficulty coming your way. But there's a shadow side to this. I call it toxic paranoia. Here's the quick metaphor. You guys have probably all heard that the difference between medicine and poison is dosage. In much of what toxic paranoia looks like compared to productive, it's the dosage that matters. That's what we're dealing with here. Productive paranoia, right dose keeps you ahead. Too much, too often, you start spinning. You start building contingency plans on contingency plans. You start building edge cases and outliers as though they're your truth and your normal. And at some point in time, you're not leading anymore. What you're truly doing is you're hoarding risk like it's your own job, and your focus becomes tunnel vision into your own paranoia. And that's when it becomes toxic paranoia. The worst part about all of this is that it feels good. It feels good because you've told yourself it's productive. You're problem solving, you're thinking, you're being proactive, you're looking around corners, you're making sure everyone can safely make it from here to there. But in reality, you've gone beyond strategy into self soothing through planning. And that's not leadership, that's personal. So let's define toxic paranoia a little bit more. Toxic paranoia is, definition, is when fear takes over your calendar. It's when you're no longer managing risk, you're avoiding shame. And you know this. And avoiding shame isolates you. It's something that always hides. Let me say that again. Productive paranoia is shared. It's part of open planning, cross functional conversations, strategy offsites, things you can discuss openly in context. Of course, you don't want to post everything, but you should be able to share it with the people who are intellectual, can help you see it, understand it, and plan for it. Toxic paranoia is when it starts to hide. It lives in your private Notion doc. It lives in your sleepless nights that you're not telling people about. It lives within the withheld information, that second bit of context you don't deliver to the team. And most importantly, it lives within your refusal to let it go. It also tells you, only I see this danger and no one else gets it. If you're living there, you're living in a toxic paranoia world. And it probably is whispering to you, you're already too late. So here's a framework I give to my clients when they're trying to figure out, well, where are the meets and bounds and what am I supposed to do? Because it's hard. They're blurry lines. Well, here's some basic questions to ask to help you be able to do a self-analysis. First off, is what you're doing thinking about problems that could come in the future? Does it create strategic options? Strategic options usually are one of two buckets, either risk amelioration, make the bad thing less likely to happen, or asset relocation. The bad thing happens, but we have enough to handle it. Or does it limit strategic options or give you none? Toxic paranoia. Does it strengthen the team or isolate them? Strengthen, productive, isolate, toxic. Is it about the business, which is a group of people working together for a mission that creates value? Or is it about personal fear? I don't like this thing, it scares me. Is it shared openly or does it hide? And then the last and most important litmus test on this, does it end in action or does it end in allowing yourself to continue to live in the maze of toxic paranoia? Toxic paranoia doesn't want to let you go. And to not let you go, it has to keep you in the maze. So these are some of the things that I think about and talk about with my clients. If you want to take a look at yourself and do a self-assessment, the easiest thing to do is look at your calendar and find the interstitial, the space between things. Where are you spending your time? You go to a meeting, you go to another meeting. If you spend your time in the middle there doing non-productive, fear-based work, that's your toxic paranoia. Now, because you're a human, You don't just get rid of this in 2 seconds. The first thing to do is notice it. Then we work on a plan to lessening it. You're never going to get rid of it completely without stopping being a human. What we want to do is we want to create value in the systems in your time. The first thing we're going to do is we're going to stop wasting time on things that are ineffective, like toxic paranoia. Thank you to everyone, by the way, for listening this long. A lot of you guys are saying really good things about these videos. It really makes me happy, and I like hearing from you all. Feels good. So I'm going to keep making them, and please keep commenting and telling me I'm doing a good job or a bad job. Thank you.